Hey, it's Greg Otten here with MaritimeGardening.com. Just a quick little video today. I thought I'd show you something very interesting that I noticed in my garden today. I'm continuing putting these new fancy schmancy new lids on my cold frames. I actually added a little feature to this one. I dovetailed a cross member on here. I just didn't think that was quite beefy enough, and I thought it needed a cross member to sort of you know, just hold the plastic. It's not stapled anywhere here, but this provides some support because we can get a lot of snow here and ice and stuff like that, and I thought that one over there, the one I did last week, was a bit wimpy. So I'll show this a bit closer, but I dovetailed this. But when I was looking in here, I actually noticed something growing in here, something that I planted last fall. So stay with me, let's have a look. Alright, so here we are. I'm just going to do this handheld. So I got the locking mechanism in the center this time, and those who predicted that I couldn't take it were right. I centered the lock on this one. Since I got this in my hand, you can see a bit closer how I did that. Not very good light today, it's overcast as usual. Anyway, just a little stick through there and a little thing like that. Alright, this thing was bent 90 degrees in some weird direction for some other function. I don't know what it's designed for, but anyway, I just flattened it on a rock to make it work for what I needed it for. So anyway, just put the pin through there. And actually, this should be a little bit thicker. I need a thicker stick there. This isn't as tight as it. See, it goes all the way through, so that could wiggle loose in a really bad windstorm. So I better get another one in there. But anyway, that's the general idea. That's all you need, a good, nice hardwood pin like that. As long as it's a bit thicker, it's really jam in there tight, it should do the job. Alright, so over here, I didn't have one of those flippy things, so I just put some, screwed some inner tube on. Right, the little nail or drywall screw that just attaches to, pretty simple. Right. That's the general idea. This one's not quite as elegant because the hinges are different sizes, which drives me crazy. But anyway, I had to get it done today, and that's what I could find in the garage. It doesn't really close as perfectly as I'd like, but it doesn't matter, it works. Anyway, let's have a look in here. So this was all just horse manure in the existing soil. I added about an inch of very finely screened, well-rotted horse manure, which is full of seeds. So what I did, and I'm going to use this approach wholesale next spring because I think it's really effective, is I put strips of paper and then spaces between the strips of paper. See, there's a strip of paper here, and this one ends right around here. So there's about a 1-inch space where it's just bare soil. And the idea is that whatever weed seeds are in the you know, horse manure and stuff like that, those will hit the paper and die. And the only thing that's going to grow is in this little strip. So you see, you got a strip of paper here, and then a space, and another strip of paper here, and then a space. So in those spaces, I planted my onions. And I was looking in here, and it didn't look like anything was going on. And I don't know if you can see this. Let's see here. Hold it with my other hand. But right here, I don't know if that's coming across on camera. Onion seeds, when they germinate, they aren't much more noticeable than a human hair. Let me try to zoom in on that. It's right there. Camera's trying to... Anyway, that's it. That's a bit out of focus. I apologize for that, but that is onion. One onion there. That's a bit better. See that? That's onion. I think there's a couple more. Right, where's my finger? There it is, okay. There's one right there. Right, so I planted these in October, I believe, or November, something like that. And I don't know when they must be growing off and on when it gets warm enough. See, the cold, depending on the variety of onion, the cold won't kill the onion, but it just won't grow unless it's warm enough, and they take a long time to grow. So, let's see if there's any more that are noticeable here. They're not coming in strong now. There's one right there. Where's my finger? Alright. See the bit of green there? Right in front of my fingernail, there's a bit of green. That's onion. That's the thing about growing onions. You can get really impatient because they're barely noticeable. There's one right there. Where's my finger again? I got this zoomed up so much. Right there, right at the tip of my finger, there's a bit of green. That's an onion. It looks like grass that's about the size of a human hair. Really fine. And you don't notice them for quite a while. You can get very impatient with onions. Anyway, I can see with my naked eye, they're coming up here and there. They're not in strong yet. I think it's just the most vigorous seeds have germinated, but they are coming in. So that's very encouraging. So I don't plan to grow them in this cold frame. The idea is they're started here, like onion sets basically, and then I'll, you know, around sometime in April, I'll pull them out of here and replant them in various parts of my garden. But to me, that's a lot easier and a lot lower tech and low maintenance than messing around with some sort of grow up, you know, transplanting operation in my house. I'm not growing anything in my house this year. Everything's going to happen out here, direct seeded, either under plastic or just out, you know, exposed to the open air. I experimented with this approach last year, and everything I did this way worked quite well. So for me, so much easier. I mean, if you look at the soil, I have not watered this, not watered it at all, and it's still moist and still damp. It's like I've been watering it, but I haven't. And that's because the soil in this cold frame, back up here a bit, is at grade, right? The soil inside is the same level as the soil in the land. So there's a hill here. When the water comes down the hill, now how you can see there's a hill there. Water comes down the hill and it runs along the clay level. If you dig down, you only have to go about 6 or 8 inches and it's just solid clay. So the water comes down this hill and then it goes through my mulch and through my topsoil and it runs along that clay layer all the way down the hill into the forest. And while it's doing that, right, it goes right in, because the cold frame stops right here, right? It doesn't go down deep, it stops. It's just sitting on the ground. So whenever it rains, even though the lid's on, it gets watered in here because the water's going underneath and it's just getting absorbed through, you know, osmosis and capillary action and that sort of stuff. It's all just coming up into there. And of course there's some degree of condensation on the plastic which drips down into the box and so on and so forth. So I water these a bit in the spring and May and stuff because it's really hot in here. It can, you know, on a day when it's 15 outside, it can be 35 in here, right? But this time of year you really don't need to water it. You know, you keep an eye on it, but to tell you the truth, I noticed these onions this morning. It's the first time I've noticed. I don't think I've even looked in here for 3 months. I haven't had a peek. It's all just been going on without me intervening or caring or being interested at all. It's just happened on its own. That is how to garden, in my opinion. That's the way to do it. Yeah, so let's close this up. I'll show you one more time this very high-tech locking mechanism. Oh, and yeah, there's those, I was talking about dovetail joints because it looks like a dove's tail, if you're not aware of that terminology. Right? So this board, there's 2 layers here. Whoops. There's 2 layers here, right? So there's only 1 layer of that cross member and it sits on top of this lower piece. Right? I just thought of this one night when I was lying in bed. And I wanted something to go across the top here to give this plastic some support. And to me that was a relatively easy solution. People talk about doing dovetails as this extremely high-tech fine carpentry thing. And it is if you want to do it really, really well. You can see my joints here, they're not perfect. There's spaces, right? I'm not building a jewelry box here. I don't care. But the principle of it is pretty easy to pull off. If you have a pencil and a saw, and I just used that pruning saw to cut these out. And I got it close enough and filed a little bit, but God, I imagine this piece took about 5 minutes to cut and fit. I'm not kidding. So it worked pretty good, and I mean, I put a screw through it, but it was pretty tight. I think if I glued that with some sort of, PL, like a exterior glue, it probably would have held pretty well. So really happy with how that worked out, and it's not going to push down because it's got the second layer of wood underneath it. There's 2 layers here, right? 2 pieces of 1x3. So it's sitting on top of the lower piece of 1x3, so it won't go down. And it's not going to go up because it's being held down by gravity. And of course I popped the screw in as well, just for good measure. Alright, so another nice fancy new lid on the cold frames. One more to go. Well, I hope you found that interesting. I hope you found that uplifting, inspiring, rejuvenating to know that something's growing. I'm so glad I tried this experiment last fall. I wish I had done it on a larger scale. I wish I'd planted onions under one of the hoop houses. I'd planned to do that, but I just got, it got away from me, and life just took another turn and I didn't get to do that. But I'm going to plant them very early here. I'm going to plant my onions 1st of March, if not before. Right now, all the gardens where I put my hoop houses, because I didn't get to them till a couple weeks ago, all that ground's frozen. It needs to thaw. But maybe mid-February, late February, maybe it'll be thawed out and I can plant some stuff in there. We'll see what happens. You just got to go with what's going on. But at least I had a little foresight here, and that's if the point of this video is anything, it's experiment, try. I mean, if this had failed, I would have been out $1.99 in onion seeds. Who cares, right? But seems to be working, so we'll see. We'll follow this into the spring and see where it goes. So I hope you found that interesting. I hope you found that useful. If you're interested in seeing how I did these dovetails with the most rudimentary tools you can imagine, I can do a short video on that too. I got one more to do. So let me know. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, like us on Facebook, check out the podcast, maritimegardening.com. I'm going to start recording really soon. I said mid-February is when I pick up again, and we're just about there. So just about time to start the podcast again. So stay tuned. Until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.